This is Anakin Skywalker, and you're listening to the Gold Squadron Podcast.
This is episode 105 of the Gold Squadron Podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel, tallest world-conquering Ewok, Manzano.
Yuck, yuck.
And William Hagewood, Dr. What?
What's up?
Oh. You're supposed to say something.
A Swarm Lord?
A Swarm Lord. Yeah, like I was trying to think of what are the. Never mind. It's super off topic. Keep going. Keep going.
We'll go get some deep cuts there. Some deep cuts.
Yeah, we'll save the deep cuts for later.
Okay. Well, today, everybody joining us, want to say thank you so much. And I want to say that today, we're getting a little deep today. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about huge ships and the upcoming epic changes, which we actually had on the notes for last week, but because of time, ended up getting cut. And our main topic, though, is talking about avoiding and navigating possible negative situations that arise during a game, whether this is a negative experience between two players, negative experience while playing the game, whether that be luck-based, or, maybe there's other things in the game that just rub people the wrong way. It's something that I think we don't talk about enough, how to address those. That way we can become just a better community as a whole, and we'll talk a little bit about that soon. But before we jump into that, I need to say a huge thank you to our patrons, our largest group of supporters. Here's a shout outs from both last week and this week, because the list wasn't working last week. Here we go. Thank you to Kevin, Matt, Renzo, Philip, Akash, Steven, Sam, Raven, Jim, Isaac, Taylor, Jonathan, Evan, and Eric. Y'all are awesome. And you guys will be receiving that brand new set that I spoiled on Patreon / Discord and Facebook, which revolves around the New Republic. If you haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and link to it in the description for those watching in the future. It revolves around, we have Ahsoka Tano and some Trade Federation droids called a face-off set, because you have two views of the battle, one from Ahsoka in her ship view and one from the view of the drones. Another card added to our ink card list where it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Clone Wars style, just ready to do his thing. And then we have Anakin Skywalker slashing up a battle droid, which will also include for our top level patrons the frosted acrylic version of that card. So super excited about that. Let's jump into Epic. So Epic Play now has a little bit of a different definition. If you caught that from Star Wars Celebration, it's not necessarily huge ships. Epic Play is more about what it seems, what they're telling us is it expands up to 8 players to some type of set or something that they're going to sell us, which we'll all buy most likely. And it's going to include this new tool called a wing tool for flying formations. So if you haven't seen it, it kind of looks, gentlemen, what do you guys think? It looks like kind of like the length of like a 4 straight. Something like that?
Yeah, like a 4 straight template.
Yeah, and then there's notches in it for 3 ships that go across, and it looks like you assign maneuvers from the middle ship, and you just move the ships on the side with it. It allows ships to do things like 4 banks and moves that it normally couldn't do, but I think the whole idea is just to keep all your firing arcs pointed the same way in this type of 8-man format.
Yeah, I think the interesting part is it what's going to happen when one bumps, and does a whole formation bump? All that stuff. Fun stuff. Oh, actually, when they said more than 2 players, you guys ever played? I mean, you guys have played chess or checkers, right?
Yeah.
1-on-1. But then you got like the Chinese checkers. Have you guys ever played that, like with the star, and you got all the marbles and stuff where everybody starts at a different part of the board?
I've seen the game. I don't know how to play it or anything. I'm assuming, but I know that it's multiplayer, like more than 2.
Yeah. It's up to like I think 8 players. So that's what I'm saying. Like it'd be awesome if it's not just a 2v2, like 2 against 2, but some type of like free for all. You got the Republic and the Separatists, and then you got the filthy Empire coming in, or the good Empire, depending on which side of the fence you fall on. I don't know. I think that'd be fun. Kind of a free for all, and it would bring that, the same type of excitement you get from when you only get the one ship in the Hunger Games type of side matches. You bring it to Epic, so I don't know, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a couple people talking about it in the chat. One thing that I think could be cool is that it's probably going to decrease the amount of time it takes to play a multiplayer game. Because when you're moving individual ships, even in 1.0 Epic, it took you spent a majority of your time just moving ships. Having the formation tool gives you the option to move things around. So a couple of things I'm curious about. Let's speculate, gentlemen. I like speculating about things. The wing formation tool. It seems to be an integral part of this new Epic format. We're not even going to get into huge ships yet. But do you think, if you have a group of ships in a wing formation, that maybe they have a combined hit point total? Are you shooting at individual ships, or are you shooting at the whole formation? What do you guys think?
So my assumption is that the wingmen, not the leader, but the wingmen, could actually eat those damages first. So that way, the last ship is always the wing leader.
I take it the other way. I take it you just pop them as they come, and you drop them. And again, once they hit once they bump or run into even an asteroid, once they hit something, they can no longer fall within the formation. So
the wing tool only is applicable until something breaks the formation?
Yeah, I think so. And I think part of what they're trying to do is actually, I'm gonna take it one step further with my conspiracy theories here.
Okay.
So I think they could go two different ways about it, right? One is you take out your regular 2.0 conversion kit stuff, and you put in 6 TIE fighters in there, and as they die, they fall off, or like William said, they wingman falls off, whatever. Or big or here, they take it more to like an armada type of approach, and the way they have quick builds now, the Epic release has like a quick build 6 fighter TIE fighter squadron, a quick build, so that the TIE fighter squadron will have probably like 8 hull, 3 agility, or 10 hull, 3 agility, or something like that, and you're poking away at basically some type of something, I mean, I think there's just so many different possibilities with it. Or every time you do 2 damage on it, you drop an attack die. I don't know, just a lot of different shenanigans that you can play with it. I like it. I mean, I think with what they did with the whole quick build. By the way, are the sirens bothering you guys?
It adds to the ambiance.
It adds to the ambiance. Yeah, I mean, we're in Chicago, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, I think with the fact that they added those quick build things, they to the regular game, I think that could be a precursor to quick build Epic lists, and then you've got kind of a larger scale armada type of match. Because personally, I always hated playing Epic.
Okay.
I do, and not because I don't like it. It's because I just hate taking out 34 cards and then putting it all back together.
Yeah, the cards like are kind of a dread.
Yeah, like taking them out and clean. The cleanup. I think everybody else. It's just like cooking, right? I don't know if you guys love cooking. I love cooking. I never cook. You know why I never cook? Because I had to clean up after I cook. After I cook, I gotta wash the dishes and I gotta do yada yada yada. So forget it. I'm ordering a pizza. So I think this is the pizza version of Epic. So this is a pizza version of Epic. Hopefully, we get a pizza version of Epic.
Yeah, that could be cool. Some type of way to condense the cards and the logistics needed to play, right? Something like that. I agree. Maybe, I mean, there's so many ways. Maybe, all right, so here's maybe a way they can do that, Marcel.
I mean,
Maybe so maybe they release some type of quick builds or something like they could update online where you have Darth Vader, right? So their picture of their example, you have a TIE Advance with 2 TIE fighters on the side. Maybe they release Darth Vader and his wingmen are always two black Squadron TIE fighters, right? And Fen Rao always has 2 whatever. Like they assign
and
the
Luke
wingman per the
Skywalker's got
pilot.
Jack Porkins, and and it says when you take damage, automatically give it. Oh, I love it. No, I like the idea of like preset squadrons based on thematic scenarios.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome.
And that's something also that FFG talked about is that this epic play and possibly huge ships, it was a little bit unclear here whether this is involving the huge ships or the epic play, which are now different, by the way. Huge ships do not necessarily equal epic. Like in the end of first edition, if you played, they said that if you're playing epic, you must use a huge ship, which honestly I didn't mind because it sped up the game. It also looks really cool. But there's going to be some type of scenarios included in the either huge ship expansions or playing an epic, some type of way to play the game other than destroy each other, which I think is really cool. Some type of objectives as ourselves as well as the Minox and the Carolina Crates. We worked on the objectives format, so I'm curious to see if any of our ideas made it into there. That could be cool.
Are you gonna take royalties?
Nah. It's for you. It's for you right there, sitting on your couch. It's for you.
Me?
No, not you. That guy. That guy.
Oh, that guy right there. I think there is a guy.
That guy in the window right there. It's for him. So that should be pretty cool. And now I want to talk about huge ships. So,
by the way, quick note.
Yeah.
Obviously, my cell phone, I have like the face recognition.
Right.
Doesn't recognize Chewbacca version of me.
It's so sad.
Yeah, sad.
So another thing that seems really interesting is they talked about the new expansions or not new expansions, but they're going to be re-releasing the huge ships, including some type of conversion kit for those of us who already have them. Now, in their picture, they only showed 3 of the ships. They showed the CR-90, this one sitting behind me. They showed the Raider, which is somewhere. It's the one that looks like a Star Destroyer, and the what is this one called? The Sea Rock Cruiser, the Scum one. But they didn't show the Rebel Transport or the Gazanti. So I'm curious to know if the conversion kit includes those and if FFG is planning on adding more epic ships for the other factions. Because they did say something about the beginning of Epic having the ability to actually use the different epic ships in the different factions.
I think that's kind of thematically. I mean, obviously, you're not going to use a Raider in a,
I commandeered it. No, the Rebels can use it. It's fine.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe they faction lock some certain ones, something like
Yeah. Like First Order and Republic. I mean, First Order and Empire can use one. Scum and Republic, or not Republic, Separatist. Good Lord, how much did I put in this thing? You know what I'm saying. Scum and Separatist, Republican. Is it now Resistance? Republic, Resistance, and Rebel. They would be sharing at this point, huh? 3 of them.
So looks like a couple people answering some of our questions that we've seen. I guess there was a thread in the FFG forum said that looks like the GR75 and the Gazanti are coming, but they will be delayed. So, all right, that's cool. At least the re-release of that. Now, it's not necessarily knowing about the conversion kit side of it. Now, I want to talk about one thing that they said was that Epic, or excuse me, I'm already confusing the new language, that the huge ships are going to be playable, not in tournament play, but in casual play on the 200-point level. Will, what are your thoughts on that?
That would be very weird. I'm not quite sure how they could be balanced against all of the regular ships, because they would have to be very cheap or shoot a bunch of times. I just don't understand. Now, are we talking like regular tournaments, like trials and cups and stuff,
So-
or primes, or whatever they call them now?
They just said casual. I don't know if they mean like casual tier. I don't know if we're going to see them at like Wave Championship level.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
I think it's interesting. If they balance it right, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, in first edition, the Gansanti wasn't too far away from the Decimator,
Very true. I wonder
except for if it ran over, if it overlapped a ship, it got destroyed.
you did.
I mean, that's my biggest question about second editions, and as far as like the balance of it, is that there's so many problems about Epic ships interacting with other things.
Yeah.
Like Jam. We have a new Jam now. Is old Jam gone? Can we not jam old Jam anymore?
That's fair. You know what, Will? That's a great point. Maybe some of the actions could be redesigned and renamed for the huge ships, or they just say our huge ship does a jam this way or reinforce this way. Even though I think that would be confusing.
I think regular jam is like strawberry. That's probably the most popular. Epic jam would be maybe like
Boysenberry?
Poisonberry, yeah, poisonberry. Might be the
Not
right
Poisonberry. Boysenberry.
No, poisonberry, because
Poisonberry. Whoa.
epic. It's epic. So I don't know. That could be a way around it. Maybe, strawberry, peach jam would be
Peach
pretty
strawberry.
horrible.
Stop it. The people are here to listen to us talk about content.
It is content.
You're funny.
How can Spaceballs not be content? Come on.
Here, I think I've shamefully admitted this. I've actually not been able to sit through Spaceballs all the way through.
You don't say
Is it
that. on live.
all the puns?
No, don't say that live. That's not.
It's already out there. It's just the truth.
I can see the unsubscriptions happening. No, don't admit to that.
Listen. I'm just being honest. I'm here to be honest. Okay, I'm here to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's see any rage in the chat. Orange marmalade. Somebody says.
No, that. Okay, wait. We're getting hungry now. I'm getting hungry. It must be the big Ewok costumes making me hungry.
All right, yeah. So overall, I know I'm pretty excited for the re-release of huge ships, because one thing that we actively participate in is a tournament called the Outrider Cup, where Epic was a part of the game. And honestly, like you were saying, Will, earlier, is that these huge ships interacted very different with small ships and large ships on the base level game scale. And I want to see how FFG adapts them. And one of the things that I love about these huge ships is that they are such a huge draw for new players. Seeing those on the table, people immediately go, "What you doing?" What is it? I know that. I've seen that in Star Wars. Is that a Star Destroyer? Even though, it's it's not a Star Destroyer, but it looks right. It looks Star Destroyer-esque. Like that's interesting. Or isn't that the ship from A New Hope? It's pretty cool. I'm a fan. Absolutely.
I'm just happy because Darwin's happy.
Oh man, yeah, our boy Darwin was like, "It's never coming." He was a big Epic fan. He also flew the most broken thing in Epic, but that's neither here nor there. Love you, Darwin. Yeah, they also talked about the huge ships being able to move differently, which I'm curious to see. They used to have this tool that looks like a I don't know, almost like a gun. Looks like a pistol. Pew pew pew. So apparently it's moving differently. The base is supposedly designed differently as well. So we'll see how the ships move. I doubt they'll use regular templates, but something. Any other thoughts on the Epic format before we get all serious in here? Because we're about to
I
get
honestly,
real.
I just hope they just make it easier because, again, X-wing is fun. I love X-wing, obviously, but yeah, the whole cleanup. Even today, like today, me and Kayla were playing yesterday, and I just cleaned up right now all the stuff that we left there. We only had 3 lists out, and it took me about an hour and a half to clean up 3 lists. So, yeah, the whole cleanup aspect of a 400-point list,
Right.
just to me is that's kind of what pushed me away from Epic, is taking out all of the bases, all the dials, all this. So seeing the whole 6 maneuver thingy,
Mm-hmm.
that made me a little bit happy, and seeing what they did with quick builds, hoping just limit the amount of setup and cleanup would make it fun
Agreed.
for me.
Yeah. I'm in. I know for myself. I know this is not a storage. Talking about storage for action, which we could cover that another day. I actually have mine. I have my ship set up so that they're always on the stands with the bases already on there with their dials next to them, so it's easier to grab stuff. But yeah, we'll see. Super.
You got a house. I got my apartment's like the size of a closet. That's the difference.
But you choose to live in an apartment the size of a closet. You could have a house if you wanted to. You just can't live downtown with that beautiful view behind you.
First world problems.
That's right. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into our main topic now, and I want to kind of give a little bit of a disclaimer. This is a topic that has an opportunity that has the possibility to make you a little bit uncomfortable, and I want to be real about it because this is a topic that I think needs to be talked about, but is avoided a lot. Or talked about usually in a really passionate way when people are either angry about something or upset about something. And I want to have a civil conversation about it, being real, and talking about solutions, things we can do. Let's look at some of the issues in the face and see what we can do as an X-Wing community about negative interactions that happen at a table. So the first I want to talk about person to person. Now, these could be interactions where specifically something has happened during the game, anywhere from pairings to the end of the game. Something has happened, an event, something was said or done that your heart starts racing. There's that moment where the mood at the table has shifted. And that could be for a myriad of reasons. So it could be something along the lines of you either know or feel that your opponent has cheated in some way. It does happen, unfortunately. But I'm starting with the worst one first. That's probably the worst. It could be a disagreement about the board state, whether it is like, hey, did you have a focus token there? Did you not have a focus token there? Somebody intending to do something versus being understood in what words are hard, in what happened on the table. Like some people, when they play, for instance, they don't talk. So you might think that they were spending a token off of, I'll give a perfect example. Anything that allows you to share tokens. If somebody says, all right, I'm going to spend this, they just use the word spend, and they pulled it off of another token. But if you're not actively thinking about where they're spending it, you're confused. Like, wait, why does that ship have a token still? That could be a positive, negative interaction that can happen. Body language can trigger this. Maybe specific things that for you, when we'll use the word trigger you, whatever that might be. And I want to talk about these kind of one by one and maybe give some examples of things that have happened in the past, maybe how to deal with it. And I want to look at the worst one first because I think Everything else will seem significantly easier after talking about this one. And let's talk about
Maybe.
cheating. Oh, you're right. I'm talking about this part. There's definitely more heavy stuff coming, but I want to talk about cheating. So whether you suspected that somebody has cheated you or obviously that is something that while you're in the middle of a game, it completely changes your mindset because now you've gone from playing a game and possibly having fun, assuming that's what your intent was when coming to the table, which now it's that experience has now been ruined for somehow, depending on the player has done. Will and Marcel, my question to you guys is, if or when a player has cheated against you or would cheat against you, what are some of the things you have done? Some of your thoughts on it. Just go ahead. This is very free form today.
Well, if you think it could be corrected and are in a tournament setting, obviously call a judge. Just explain to the judge. Judge will mediate as best as he can, and then hopefully get a result that he can continue on with the game. In a more casual setting, depends on if this person's your friend or not. Because
Very true.
It's happened to me before, very rarely, but has happened to me before where I suspected someone was doing things that I did not deem appropriate, and I simply just packed up my things and said, "Good day." You don't have to play people. Like, you should not sacrifice your fun of enjoying the game to try to get out a win at even a tournament. Like, if you do not like the person you're playing at a tournament, just don't ruin your experience. Just walk away. It's the easiest thing. That person will take more away from you just straight up leaving than sitting there and arguing with you.
Yeah.
So I've got, as far as cheating goes, it's a strange topic because I think Gold Squadron, one of the first main memories people have is Dialgate, obviously. Yep. And Dialgate had one aspect of it that made the difference. Kayla's making fun of my outfit. She just got home from class. So one of the things that came up from that conversation is intent. Mm-hmm. It's like, did you mean to cheat, or was it an accident? And even earlier today, we were talking before the cast about something that, is there intent? Do you know about it? And I can talk about from moments that I've been on one end of it, but I'm going to talk about a moment that I was on the opposite end of it. And it was at a big event, which was, I was playing against Jeremy Howard at the 2000 whatever World Championships. We were both I think we were both 4-0 at the time, or 5, whatever. Basically, we were both trying to make the cut, trying to go into the top 16. I looked at his dial. I mean, that is cheating. Mm-hmm. So I looked at Jeremy's dial.
Whether it's an accident or, like you said, it's intent, right? Whether it's accident or
but it was cheating. And at that point, we called Frank Brooks over because we're at Worlds. Like, there's no anything else about it. And after some time, it was I said, you know what, I know what I did. It wasn't intentional. The ships were all on my end. I flipped over a dial that I thought was mine just to make sure that my dials were set correctly. It was the wrong dial. So I gave my dials over. I offered my dials over to Jeremy and said, you set the dials. Frank asked, is that okay? Jeremy said, yeah. And to his credit, Jeremy did not fly me off the board, which he had the chance to do. He just put me on a rock, so I'm not shooting that round. And he does what he wants to do. At the end of the day, whatever, it worked out for the Howards. I beat Jeremy. Jeremy didn't make the cut, but Cobra Kai, Duncan knocked me out of the cut, so it all worked out for them. But anyway, so I don't know. It's a really slippery slope, because I know I was like, if Frank would have came over and said, you know what, you cheated, sorry, disqualified, I would have accepted it. But it's not quite that simple, right?
Right.
It's really not quite that simple. And then we all want to hang. I don't even know the dude's name, but we all want to hang like somebody that gets caught on stream cheating. I think some of them you can probably determine some intent, but at the same time, you want to give people the benefit of the doubt. That's what makes X-Wing community so great. That's what makes X-Wing, and that's why we do what we do, because we're middle-aged and millennial people, like moving toys around. And what'd you call it, on a giant mouse pad? I like
on
that.
A giant mouse pad, yeah.
Yeah, it does look like a giant mouse pad. I'm gonna get a big mouse and stop playing my video games that way too. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm kind of on the fence with the cheating side of it, because I've been on the other side of it more than once. Like even on a couple of streams, we stream a lot. I'm on stream quite a bit because my connection to you. And every now and again, like even the Iowa is like, oh, you cheated. You used this when you weren't supposed to use this. Like, oh yeah, oops.
Yeah, and like there is the right. So cheated could be in some situations could be the same as mistake, which there's, and I'm going to talk about our YouTube content, because I will honestly say, out of I will say that out of anybody, honestly, probably in the country, or I would say in the X-Wing community, I have played on camera probably more than anybody else. Because of our streams, I'm there weekly. Sometimes there's multiple games a week where I'll play with somebody, and one of the things that people will say, oh, Dion, man, I had somebody actually recently comment like, Dion, man, every time I watch Dion play, man, he does X or Y or Z. And I'll admit, yeah, there's two situations where I definitely messed up. And there's in a game where I noticed and went, oh crap, I did this. And we try to rectify, but it's league night, right? Like we're just whatever, we move on once something happens. But like you said, Marcel, we got to talk about intent, which is in a tournament setting, which is where I really want to shift this conversation, is we don't currently have floor rules of any kind. Which hurt when, as a competitive community, when somebody does something wrong, like you said, Marcel, if there was some type of just rule, like if X happens, Y is the consequence, maybe I think that would do a lot to probably negate people whose intent is actually malicious. And it also might just keep people sharper. Because I think, like you said, if I made a mistake during a game that would be considered cheating, like you said, flipping over somebody else's dial, or who knows? There's just a lot of small interactions that happen in the game. That if there was just a solid consequence, here it goes, you would just move on and accept it. I really do think there does need to be some type of flow rules, but that's not our conversation today as to what those would be. But I think if there was some, that would be a good idea. I want to then shift back here to people making mistakes. I do get a little bit irritated when I've commentated on a lot of games, and we've put out a bunch of content. I did say that today was going to get serious, and I want to be real with you guys. When people on YouTube, like pointing out a mistake is not wrong. But when you instantly accuse somebody of cheating, it bothers me because in a single game, I want you to think about literally the hundreds of small interactions, decisions, things you have to move on the table, moments, hundreds of moments in a single game where something can go wrong. And many people are quick to judge the person who's on a camera, and where you get to sit back and watch everything they're doing. You have no pressure whatsoever. And you're very quick to judge somebody who makes a mistake. Now, again, there's intent in there. But I wanted to make sure to bring this up in this conversation because it bothers me as a content creator that when people volunteer to play for me, that so many people are comfortable scrutinizing others when not really thinking through the possibilities and when things can happen.
Yeah, we getting reels now.
Oh yeah,
we're getting reels. All right. So I know this is not the next item on the list, but it's connected to what you just said.
Go for it.
And it has to do with negative play experience, right? So that's what we're talking about. Like basically a negative play experience, if we're breaking it down, is playing a game that is intended to be fun is no longer fun, right? It's either a chore or it's a pain in the butt. New players will quit. Old players will either walk away or blow up some other way. So back on that part about the content creator and stuff like that is the whole aspect of playing on a stream. I know to a lot of people playing on a stream is like it's uncommon to them. They don't really play on stream, so they're excited and they want to do it. But for others that have the opportunity more often, or for others that have had a limited opportunity but have had a negative play experience with it by coming back and seeing, is just be mindful of it's essentially cyberbullying. Bullying is what it is. It's like, oh, X and X has a horrible list. X and X is doing the wrong interactions, and I think your Wednesday night league nights are probably the biggest example of that, because at this point we're not showing the best of the best with the best lists. Not that our players are bad.
Right.
But that's not the intent of League Night. The intent of League Night is experimentation, fun, hanging out, and just like it's a night out. It's a poker night with friends, just plastic toys instead of cards, right?
Yep.
That's what it is. So we've got, and I'm not going to name names, but somebody that I like a whole lot and somebody that I got a lot of respect for. We got people that basically say, no, I will not play on stream, or I will play on stream, but you will disable comments because don't want to hear trolls. And that's a negative play experience. So I think the negative play experience, if you're bringing up playing on stream, goes along to I love the people. Like I've got a tough skin. I don't care. I mean, I'm wearing a Chewbacca outfit for crying out loud. Like I really don't care. But some people do. So like keep in mind. Just X-Wing is better than that. So if you're a good X-Wing player on the when you're seeing somebody face to face, don't become a troll once they're online. Like understand, hey, you know what? They're in the moment. I'm going to give you a great example of that. The match in Iowa between Brad and William.
Yeah.
You and me there. We were pretty critical. We're like, oh, he stole that dial. I mean, he stole that calculate token. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I mean, we're kind of biased because, Will's our dude and, we want to bring it home. But, those are just like basic mistakes. It's like, it's not intent. So even though we were kind of instigating it, which we were, then again, we was after like 12 hours of play, but we were instigating it.
We were quite tired. I would say the commentary on those is not quite up to par.
Yeah, watch that one on mute. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Like, yeah, just take it easy. like we need to chill out too. Like just take it easy and let people play the game. There are situations where cheating is blatant. Those need to be called out. But if it's a mistake, if it's a missed action, missed trigger, that happens.
Right. Which I would say majority of the time when I'm commentating and I see something weird, I never say this person did this. It's let's take a look. I don't know. And if I don't know, there's nothing. If I didn't see it, a lot of times there's no way to go back. But anyway, talking about
I got one last thing to say about
Yeah.
the intent versus mistake of kind of cheating or whatever. Where's my air quotes? I don't know where my camera is. There it is.
Right there. There you go.
Is that Marcel? You got to mute. I can't hear myself.
My bad. Sorry, Chicago people getting shot.
All right, thank you. Anyways, so if it's the intent versus mistake, or cheating versus mistake, or whatever, however you want to say it, accidental or whatever, intentional. That comes from the rapport and trust you have with your opponent. If you begin to deem your opponent untrustworthy, more and more likely his mistakes or accidents tend to look like cheating. So that would be a small preventative measure. I would post out there's a little tip is that if you can get that good rapport, like help your opponent, be like, hey, you have a focus there. Don't forget about spending that if you're trying to not take damage or whatever. Or like, hey, don't forget, your force charge at the end of the round. Things like that.
Yeah.
Once you kind of build that rapport, then later on when you're like, oh man, I have a target lock. Like I didn't even spend that target lock. Then they can be like, you know what? That's like you're not trying to cheat. You're right. It's just a simple accident. Sure, go for it. But like, if you start the game off of like, whoa, keep your range ruler inside of range 1, dude. Like, you can't put templates outside your deployment zone. Like, if you start the game like that, you are setting a really bad tone for the rest of the game. And that's where those kind of like mistakes and accidents versus like what's intentional starts getting blurred.
Well,
So
actually, I think this is a really good transition into kind of the next idea I wanted to go onto here is the ability to have a casual feeling game at a competitive level. Right? It's like you were saying, building the rapport, building the trust with your opponent. I know one thing that I try to do, assuming that I'm having a good day and feeling really good, which is most of the time, is like you said, William, you help the opponent, you make sure you greet them positively, and everybody starts with a clean slate, essentially, once you start the game, and you're trying to help both players play to the best of their ability throughout the game. Obviously, you're not sitting there setting people's dials and stuff, but like you said, like, hey, somebody's saying like, oh, I don't have a focus, and you look down and go, yeah, you do. It's right there, right? Just helping them out, things like that. I know I'm a big fan of it. And of course, I'm not saying there's some players out there who are definitely listening to us right now and saying, well, I don't want to. Why would I do that? Why would I help my opponent in that way? It is a personal choice, but I know for myself, when we're talking about trying to create positive interactions versus negative interactions, it's a way to start leaning that meter towards being positive. If you show that you're playing in good faith. In good faith with your...
I'm going to take him off. I'm going to say something so it gets him off screen.
With your opponent.
Oh, come on. People listening on iTunes have no idea what's going on.
Just... Nope.
Anyway, keep going, Dion. I am listening to you.
It's fine. I kind of forgot my train of thought. But...
Positive.
Yeah. So stay positive. Casual environment during a tournament setting.
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, just trying to to keep that I lost it. It's gone.
Dude,
Thanks, Marcel.
people, you gotta say focused, focused.
There's a
I'm
dancing.
in it.
It's a dancing Chewbacca on my
Chewbacca?
screen. Anyway,
That's called the floss.
yes, I'm aware. It's
You're
called
familiar
the
with the
floss.
floss? Okay.
It's from the Fortnite dance. all
Backpack
this
Kid.
stuff. Backpack Kid. Yep.
Yeah.
He even made a rap song about it, which is questionable. But anyway.
So
Whoa,
what
deep
I'm
cut.
doing, Dion. By the way, no deep cut. You know what I'm doing, Dion.
What?
I am creating so much doubt and questions in everybody listening in their car driving to work, saying like, "What in the world is going on at Gold Squadron podcast?" I gotta watch it on stream live next time because
this is
what
true.
is happening?
That's true. Yeah. If
What
you're not
is
watching,
this Chewbacca doing the floss? What is does Chewbacca floss? Yes, now you know Chewbacca does floss.
Yep. Anyway.
I'm helping you out. That's all I'm doing.
I agree. I agree. You should be watching. You should be watching for sure. And if you can't, I get it too. If you're listening in the car, hi. Hopefully you're having a good commute home or to work. Have a great day. Do that. So
Excellent.
positive, keeping positive.
I actually am another culprit on the bad side of this. On because some of like I love X-wing, and I do get emotional sometimes. And then there's been a couple situations, not a lot actually. It's only I think I can count 3 of them. But when I get triggered, like either my dice are going horrible, or just something happens, and I'm like, just not having it.
Yep.
And I know one time was against Zach Bart. I kind of got triggered against him during one of the regionals. One of them was against Lee. He won the Michigan regional a couple years ago with. Anyway, like last year he won the Michigan regional. Lee, Canadian guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, like I've gotten triggered and I've created a negative play experience for my opponent. That doesn't happen often, but it's happened. And if you are that guy, if you are the Chewbacca or the tallest Ewok that does that, I'm happy to say that like in every situation, before the end of the day, I've gotten back to that player and said, hey, you know what? I don't like the way I reacted. That doesn't represent me. That doesn't represent X-Wing. Congratulations on your win. I'm sorry. And in every situation, it's created a friend.
Yeah.
And that's never repeated itself.
Yeah,
So if you are that guy that gets triggered, because we're all competitive, we all want to win at that. I mean, we don't go to a regional expecting to lose. Like we all want to win. So if you are that guy, you're gonna react the way you react. It's just human nature, right? We're a machine. It's mechanical. Action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. But at some point, you're gonna finish the game. You're gonna go sit down. You're gonna have a beer, and if you don't drink, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna like talk to a buddy and be like, you know what? I was kind of not a nice guy. Go back, shake the hand, apologize, congratulate, and keep the X-Wing community on the up and up on that one. If you are the culprit.
Right. And you're jumping a little ahead in the agenda. But we'll hit it. It's okay.
Wookiees don't read.
Yeah, I mean, no X-Wing player, no person is perfect. I'm going to give an example here where I know I was wrong. Okay, I know I was wrong. I did apologize to the player, but it was interesting how one moment has the possibility to ripple very easily. Anyway, and I'll jump into it. So at the Murray, Kentucky hyperspace trial, one of them I had driven about 8 hours to get there. I knew we set up the stream and all that. We were getting ready to go. I was also playing and streaming at that event, and I know that I was not the best Dion that I could be. When I'm tired, usually, especially if I'm trying to play, like I'm running. D talks about this quite a bit, where you have a finite amount of resources. This D Yoon from Minok, finite amount of resources in your brain, and essentially, I was running low. I was running low in one of these matches where me and my opponent, super nice guy, and I think if we had a very honest conversation about it, I was in the winning position in the game, and there was just we got to attacking, and where he had a couple of like range 3 obstructed no focus shots against my I had like focus evade, I had all the things that I needed to probably most likely not take damage, and something super simple, like just it triggered me in that moment, how he for whatever reason, how he rolled his dice, it just looked funny to me, right? So I don't have any dice right here. Basically, it was like grabbing them, picking them up, and letting them go, right? And the rational side of my mind now, when I'm fully awake and can talk about this, says, Dion, you were being very stupid in this moment. But in that moment, I felt the like, hey, I got to watch this, even though I didn't. And about halfway into the game, it was a pretty strong swing point. Again, I have the advantage in positioning, but the dice are just not going my way. And I say out loud, "Can you please roll your dice?" Now, I shouldn't have, because he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was picking up and dropping these. The dice still bounce around. Stuff happens. It's fine. But I was in the wrong, and in that moment, one of the players in the area next to us looks at me and says, "Hey, stop bullying this guy." Now,
Good on him, actually.
yeah, I mean, definitely he called me out on it, and like in the moment, I'll admit I got angry. I was pretty. I was pissed off. Okay, I was pissed off. And I looked at the guy and I composed myself and said, okay, I'm being ridiculous. It is me. Sorry. Okay, so we played the game, and after I cooled off, after a couple rounds, we kept playing. I did go to my opponent and say, hey man, I'm sorry. I even told him, I said, I'm tired and hungry and stuff. I'm just not in the right state of mind. I want to apologize for my behavior. And he said, don't worry about it. We played the game, whatever. Now, here's how a single moment, even between two people, and this gentleman calls me out, and that's fine. I made the mistake, and I'm admitting it here. He went so far as to then go on a public forum and say, I've been around Dion. He bullies his opponents. Not a good guy. So why do I bring this up? It's not. I'm not saying that the guy was wrong for posting it. Freedom of speech. Say what you want. But I want to talk about how a single moment in time, a single decision in a game, can negatively impact past that moment in time, because I don't know, if this is the worldview that gentleman has of me now, he's essentially lost to me, right? Like he no his post went on talking about how he'll never watch Gold Squadron X, Y. Like there's all these things on there, and of course I felt bad about it, but it was one of those where I was emotional in a moment. I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong in that moment, and it's now out of my control in his mind. I'm a bad guy essentially, and I just want you guys to be conscious of, in those moments where you do get emotional, that there are, even if you're not, I have a spotlight on me because I'm Dion Morales, Gold Squadron Podcast. Like, most people know who I am. And I'm not saying that in a way that it's like, oh, look who I am. But I have to pay extra mind to how I speak and interact with people. And just remember that a lot of the same people play in these tournaments. People travel, all this, and when you have a negative interaction with somebody, that negative interaction can definitely come back and has a high likelihood of seeing that person again. So, like you said, Marcel, it's always best to try, like, when you're on the wrong side, admit you're wrong, talk to the person, bury the hatchet the best you can, and try to make a friend out of it, because mistakes happen, and it happens. We're all human. All of us have lost their cool, and I really doubt any person out there playing X-Wing said they never have created a negative experience, even if it's small. It happens, but try to make the best of it. And I think the other thing you have to do is, once you've assuming that you didn't like cheat somebody with intent. You're like, I'm planning on cheating right now. Sorry, guy. Right? Not that person. But if it's an accident, you had an emotional moment, stuff happens. Apologize, and then make sure also to forgive yourself and just try to move on and just try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Essentially, is what you got to do. I know this sounds really trivial, but I think it's important to say, because it's part of our game. We play a game where we're people interacting with other people, which is honestly, in this day and age, rare with the amount of technology out there. A lot of our interactions are online, and there's even in my life, the majority of my person-to-person contact outside of teaching, obviously I'm teaching people, but if you have a desk job where you're mostly on the computer, stuff like that, let's try to make the best of our positive interactions. Yeah, man, it's heavy in here. William, crack a joke.
Just say something so we can see you.
Man.
That's a joke in itself.
Oh, I tried to rip a fart, but it didn't work.
There we go.
Hey, we got a glimpse of you. That's enough for me.
All right.
I'm the one wearing the outfit, but yet you're the comic relief. What the what?
Yeah.
What? I got downgraded to comic relief?
No.
Get that world's in, my buddy.
Oh, shoot. Oh, I am the joke now.
All right. Now let's go ahead and hit the next topic in this, which again, we're going to get serious again.
Uh-oh.
And this is playing against women and kids. And I'm gonna
wait. Before we get away from body language, because actually the women and kids was my topic. But before we get to body language, so body language doesn't just happen with verbally, and it actually doesn't even just happen visually. Like throwing the hoe or throwing your dice around and stuff like that. It actually also happens. I don't know the word for this. I should probably go to college again. Or for a little oratory. You can smell it.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
There's like a word for saying when you smell it. It's like auditory, but it's anyway for your snow.
Nope.
Wear cologne. Wear deodorant. Brush your teeth.
Oh,
have some hygiene.
Oh, okay. You're telling me. Yes. Take care of yourself. Hygiene.
And I don't mean to say in a bad way, but it really is a negative play experience when you got to play an hour and a half. When I understand sometimes it's unavoidable. There's medical conditions that occur. Yep. Medical conditions aside, if you can avoid it, avoid it. I mean, it really is no fun to play an hour and a half when I don't know. How can I say this without sounding like a jerk?
People need to make sure they shower before events and wear deodorant. That's fine. That's easy.
And brush your teeth.
And brush your teeth. There you go.
Brush your teeth.
Anyway, so specifically, people started on our topic that we were doing, and then I wanna give the transition here. And Marcel, you can go ahead and take it from there. Specifically. Well, I'm not talking about that it's a negative experience to play against women and kids. What I'm talking about is players who create negative experience for kids and women playing the game, and how that can affect our community, the growth of the game,
The potential.
and the growth potential of the game, and then also just the when you look at either a subgroup of people, whoever it might be, that it's not a white male or another just like male gamer looking person who's playing a game who's outside of that box. When you're playing with them, those subgroups of people are usually they have a lot of negative interactions, and we have quite a few people in our play group that have had situations where, because they were either young or a woman, that players treated them differently. And I want to talk about that. Marcel, you have some of the most up to date knowledge with Kayla playing, and so I want to go ahead and give you the floor.
So again, my girlfriend Kayla started playing not long ago, and also I know Nate and Allie. Allie started playing after she and Nate started dating. And of course, there's countless of other women that play. Not countless. I wish there was countless of other women that played, but there is a handful of other women and children that play. Another young person, let's call him a young person, not children. Another young person that play, for example, is Nathan Ides' younger brother, Daniel. It's a young person who plays. He's only 14. He started playing when he was about 12. So there's a lot of young people, and there's a lot of women that play. And X-Wing is mainly dominated, just like Warhammer and other games of the type, with unfortunately, it is also by white male. Like that is true in the United States, but male is the common denominator, right? And it makes the perception that kids and women don't know the rules. They're just playing to satisfy their parent or satisfy their boyfriend or husband or whatever. And because of so, they're not really invested in the game, and they're not really up to date with the rules and interactions and all of that. So so that creates a really negative play experience for those let's call them minorities. I mean, that's really what they are, right? They're the minority in the X-Wing world.
Yep.
So it creates a really negative play experience for the minority, and what happens is they just stop playing.
Mm-hmm.
They literally just stop playing. And again, to get real again, Kayla has been to 2 regionals now, which she's gotten really good at, and she's she went 1-5 in her first one, 3-3 in her second one.
Mm-hmm.
But low key, again, not putting out names, she told me some scenarios that were like, what? No, that's not legal. No, that's and she's asking me like, wait, and basically she caught it in the moment, but just afraid to speak out because
Right.
You're not quite sure. She's like, that doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
And just really creates an experience where makes them not to want to come back and play again. Like, why would you want to come back and play again if somebody's either undermining you, looking at you like a second-class player, or just trying to outright cheat you because they think they can get one up on you?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't want to speak for Nate and Allie, but in Allie's situation, that's why she actually stopped playing for a while, because she said, I'm tired of, like, Allie actually knows the game better than most people. I mean, she's been playing for a long time, and she's done well. She's whooped my butt plenty of times. Yet, when she goes to a tournament where somebody doesn't recognize her, they'll try to pull one up on her because, hey, she's a girl. She doesn't know what she's doing. And if she beats them, then the attitude comes out like it's some type of, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you got how people make fun of, like, oh, you got beat by a girl.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that whole type of experience, like, oh, you got beat by a girl. Like, no, you lost against a better player. You didn't lose against a girl. You lost against somebody who plays better than you play and made better choices than you made. fly better, get better. Not like, oh, you lost against a girl, and then that diminishes the good play from the younger player, or diminishes the good play from the woman. So it's like, okay, when I lose, they're trying to get one up on me, and when I win, I don't even get credit for it. They get angry because they lost against the girl.
Right.
And that just creates a horrible image. It almost makes you embarrassed. For all of you married people listening, like how comfortable are you bringing your wife or your girlfriend over to play X-wing?
Yeah.
Honestly, like how comfortable would you be bringing them over to a regional?
Yep.
Because like somebody would be trying to pull one up on them, and they really would not be treated the same way as another guy playing.
Right.
So and that for me, that's a real thing, because I know Kayla's a really good player. I know Allie's a really good player. Sarah, thankfully, has Sarah Tennyson. I can't think of her name. Tessum.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, has tough skin and has been around long enough to.
Oh, she calls everybody on their BS. It's great.
Yeah. Like she's been around long enough,
awesome.
and she's got tough enough skin that, and she's good enough that she'll kick anybody's. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, like if you're introducing somebody and they're not at that level yet, and it takes all of us a period of time to get to that level, we push them out before they ever have a chance to get to that level. So that's a really sore spot for me, because I not only have a girlfriend who plays, I have a son who at one point I wanted to introduce, and played the first game, got the first experience, and said, nope, never touching this again.
Mm-hmm. It takes one negative experience early to really break somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, I think we can round this up a little bit and just say, like, treat people well. And I don't, there's that whole, it's pretty cliche to say the golden rule, like treat people how you want to be treated. But I honestly think that there are some people in the world universe, we're getting real deep here now, that don't really understand the positive, like how to treat a person in a positive manner, whether it is that they believe less of somebody because of X or Y or Z, whether it is they've decided that I'm in a competition, so I will not respect my opponent, whether it is just having a nonchalant thought about how you treat anybody. Like, it's be a good person. Most people can agree what that means. Be kind, be courteous, be helpful, and when you mess up, try to rectify it in whichever way you can. We all make mistakes, and again, I want to round this off by saying we all make mistakes, and when we do, apologize to the person, do the best you can, be fair to everybody who you play against, and whether they're man, woman, child, young adult, whoever it is, whether they're new player or super experienced, go and play the game, have fun, and be honest. That's really what I want to see from X-Wing players. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that this is an epidemic in our game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not, waving a red flag. I want to just make sure to keep this in the forefront of our minds, to make sure that we are doing the best to keep our game as positive as possible. Because I will say that the majority of my interactions in the X-Wing community, even before I started Gold Squadron, were really positive. People were really helpful and willing to give me tips and talk about the game, and just let's make sure to try to push that forward. And there's that slogan out there that a lot of people use, fly casual, and it can be looked at a lot of different ways. But really, what I want to, the way I look at that is not necessarily the talking about gameplay, but play every person as if they are your friend, a good friend that you You're here just to have a good time with. And I hope that we didn't get too deep for people this week on that. But I wanted to talk about it. And if you want to have some dialogue back and forth, feel free to talk about it in the comment section. And you can also discuss it on Discord. I think it's a really important topic to talk about. And, I have, even though my daughter is only 3 years old, hopefully this game is still around as she continues to grow. Like, I want her to be able to have these positive experiences and to be able to play a game that is fun and but also very deep competitively, good for the mind and good for the soul. All right,
Let's lighten it up a bit.
That's right. There you go. And he dabs.
Who wanted the dabbing Obi-Wan? We got to do. Somebody asked for dabbing Obi-Wan. I don't have an Obi-Wan outfit. I can get high ground. But
all right, well let's go ahead and jump into our last few points of the cast, and that is our list and question of the week.
Ooh, okay, this is the fun part.
All right, Will, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
I see you. He was munching during that, but he's like, "It was my chance to eat my dinner."
No, I'm on gum.
You're on gum. Oh, we're gonna talk about some stuff here.
Because Fane was asking.
Yeah, we'll hit that. We'll hit that at the end. Not before the closing, but we're gonna talk about some things here because But we'll get there anyway. All right. So here is the list of the week. Will, I'm gonna give you the lead on this one. The name of the list is Hyper Merrick and Friends. So we have Merrick Steel with fire control system, marksmanship, and hull upgrade. Major Vermeil with Tactical Officer, Darth Vader crew, and composure. Vizier, also in the TIE Reaper, with Tactical Officer and Director Krennic. And rounding the list out with the Night Beast TIE Fighter with nothing on it, sitting at 200 points.
So there's a couple things that I guess I looked at this last week. I was trying to break it down. I still don't think I have it exactly figured out because there's a couple questionable things I don't quite understand, and it's Tactical Officer and Krennic on Vizier. Now, I guess let me break it down that I assume that Vizier moves, okay, and then coordinates Vermeil, who then coordinates him back. Does that make sense?
For the composure shenanigans?
Well, because you need to get that target lock out for Vizier. But Vizier, so he needs to take his own target lock to do Krennic things, right?
Right.
He also needs to be coordinating, and he has two different ways to white coordinate. He's got his own ailerons, and he's got the Tactical Officer. But then Vermeil is also coordinating as well. So I assume that they're like bouncing them between themselves. But honestly, this is how I assume it. Maybe there's like a one specific way it works, but I think you're supposed to Vizier moves, coordinates Vermeil, who then coordinates him back, so that Vizier can target lock, and then, which doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. There's I mean, I guess it's in there, so it's more versatile. But it seems like this whole list is. I think it was Tyler described a list as a Rune Goldberg machine. Rune, what are those things?
Where like
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where it's a one trick pony.
No, I'm talking about like it's in the start of Back to the Future, where Doc's breakfast machine does like 60 things to like make one breakfast. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Six dominoes, swings a bowling ball, and then like that bowling ball like lights a match, which burns a rope or whatever. Yada yada yada. It keeps going and keeps going forever. Effect. Yeah, exactly. Something similar to that.
Okay.
And like I said, maybe there is a specific way that it works, but I think that a lot of these upgrades are just part of this kind of like Rune Goldberg machine. But I'm totally cool with. I like the pilots for the most part, And I just think you can just start throwing upgrades off of these things and make Night Beast better. Like Vizier doesn't need the tactical officer. He already has his ailerons move, right?
Done.
Krennic gone. Don't need it. I mean, maybe you're Krennic Merrick Steel, I guess, but you could just coordinate them. Be a lot better. I would say the same thing for tactical officer and composure. Rip those off of Vermeil. I do like that Darth Vader on him though. That's nasty. It makes him like a true threat to where you don't want to shoot at the other people. Mostly Merrick Steel, who you want to keep in the fight. And I don't think that he needs fire control system's pretty good, but I don't think he needs the hull upgrade. It's not helping out that much. It's really expensive on a 3 agility ship. And then which leaves us. Hold on, see if you're keeping track with me.
17.
17. Yep. So at this point, you got 2 options, and I think. And I'm gonna let you jump in, Marcel. I know. You got words at the tip of your tongue, but you're gonna. So I would either switch that hull upgrade for proton rockets, okay, and then you can get a 37-point ship, a 36-point ship instead of Night Beast, or you could just not bring the rockets. Drop Night Beast and have a 43-point ship.
Or you can just bring Fat Han.
Okay, well, this isn't what I was going to ask you, Marcel, is taking that kind of like I said, maybe there is a combination, but I'm not seeing it. It's too many things. But so Marcel, this is my question to you. What would be a either 43-point or 46-point ship that you think would fit in here better?
All right, I got you. So I looked at this list as well, and I actually tried to look. Sorry to who submitted it.
It is Panic. I wasn't ready for that question.
Panic pilot. Double stress. Anyway,
Of course, I didn't write it down because I'm terrible.
Mr. Anonymous. So, so I actually, when I looked at the list, I was trying to see like, what is this person trying to do? And I love Merrick Steel. I used to play Merrick Steel in 1.0 a lot at casual games a lot. Just I like the idea of picking the critical that you're going to land. So the thing that I saw is is basically making the most out of. You've got support ships, Night Beast, Vermeil, etc. You've got support elements. Darth Vader, even though it puts out damage, it's a support element. It's basically doing what it's supposed to do. So I kind of played off of that aspect of it and tried to make Merrick Steel kind of like the highest point, like what puts this list together, what puts the damage out, but without making it the highest target, if that makes a whole lot of sense, because target priority is a big deal. So you've got the initial I'm looking at you right now, reset.
Okay, I'll reset it.
Reset. Finish him. Oh, sorry. Mortal Kombat days.
Oh, hold on. They just I assume it's them. They just posted in chat about how it works. He says it starts with Vermeil jamming off or giving focus target lock to Merrick. Okay.
Followed by Vizier
getting his own focus jam or coordinate lock / focus for Merc if he's missing anything. Okay, so coordinates or focuses or jams. So hold on, let me read through that again. So Vizier moves first, gets his own focus or jam, or coordinates target lock to Merrick. Okay, then Vermeil moves and jams as well. So maybe that's the point in the device.
I'm gonna stop you right here.
Okay.
So what's his name? QTG523. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, that's a big one. You must be a droid.
It's cutie.
All right, Mr. Cutie or Miss Cutie. So I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. So I love list building, and one of the things I love most about list building is simplicity and making things work on their own. So I'm gonna give you something you're gonna take to your next league night, and you're gonna whoop some booty, and you're gonna thank me later. So this is the no one, right? Let's delete TIE Fighter. Who wants a TIE Fighter? Let's just get rid of them altogether.
Okay.
Night Beast, bye bye.
Bye, Night Beast.
Yeah, you don't need Night Beast. So I actually like a lot TIE Reaper Major, Vermeil, and like the way you've got them built out. Oh, I like them, but you don't really need composure. So let's get rid of composure there. You know, if you fail, you fail. Do or do not. There is no try. You are flying the Empire after all. Sith operate in absolutes. All right. You see, you like how I kept that thematic.
I'm a fan. Continue.
All right, there you go. And Director Krennic, you know what? I like Krennic, but nah, you don't need him. Hull upgrade. Don't need a hull upgrade. Now, the reason I'm taking hull upgrade off of this one is, again, Marique's that's your ace, right? That's your Initiative 5 ace. But you don't want people to know that's your ace. You just want to kind of like sneak in there a little bit, right? So now you see that little copy mark. No, actually, wait, before you go to the copy mark. Nope, don't copy. Take Vizier and switch them to just the Initiative 1 Reaper. Scarif. And you know what the great thing about Scarifs are? That at the end of 1.0, they were given all the Scarif alt art cards. So now you get to use your alt art. Now hit the copy mark
On
the Scarif. Bam. So now you've got Marique Steele with your marksman and your fire control system. You've got 3 Reapers. All of them can jam. All of them could coordinate. So you can choose based on who doesn't bump and who does what. Who's going to give Marique Steele the double action, because you want that double action to get the ability off. And all of them got tactical jammers, so you're not going to be stressing yourself at any point. So, and Darth Vader, because Darth Vader on Vermeil is just so good. So now you've got 3 Reapers. It's a total of 27 health on those Reapers alone. They're 43 points. They're only a couple points different than Marique Steele. So if they're going to chase after Marique Steele trying to kill him, those Reapers could do some damage. And if they go after the Reapers, Marique Steele's going to do some damage. So at this point, you know, you've got a pretty well-rounded list. You've got low initiative blockers that can coordinate. You've got Vader, which is just going to wreak damage. And you got Marique Steele, which is always a threat, and Initiative 5. So I actually like this list a lot. When I tweaked it and I looked at it about it, I'm like, I should probably take this to League, because it's going to make some people very upset. No, seriously, because you can put 3 jams. You can put 3 jams out there. You can coordinate. Like you could do a coordinate chain across the board. Like I coordinate you to coordinate you to coordinate you to coordinate Marique Steele. Like there's so much you can do with this list. It's so flexible, and again, Marique Steele. As long as it's getting double actions, Marique Steele. I mean, that's what makes Vader Vader, right? The double actions. So as long as you can get that double action on Marique Steele, and you got 3 different options to do so, this is gonna be fun.
All right. Well, that's cool. That has been our list of the week. Now,
I want to take that to League Night now.
All right. So our question of the week.
Why am I giving this away free?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You can bring it. It's all right. I mean, it's tomorrow. Anybody who's going to League, probably except for me, hasn't built a list yet. I have, or has already built their list, and we'll be just going tomorrow. Anyway, by the way, I need a list to play tomorrow. We'll talk about that in the chat. Question of the week comes from Nursin Last, and Nursin, and the question is: so this is a weird question. If you roll dice for an attack and want to spend a target lock, can you swap in different dice and roll those instead after removing the results you don't want? So basically, saying, let's say you roll 4 dice. You got 2 hits, 2 blanks. You say, those 2 blanks are bad dice. I'm getting them out of here. I'm going to spend my target lock and re-roll 2 other dice, or roll 2 other dice. Can you? I mean, so I would say that if you are of the belief that all dice are the same, then it actually doesn't matter. But I think probably table etiquette wise, this might be a possible negative experience for somebody. Try to bring it around, right? Where like if somebody's like, I know that sometimes people are like, oh, these are my special dice. Like when I need a blank, I only roll this dice. When I need a hit, I only roll this die. Like I know that I look
shady.
at, huh? It sounds shady, right? It sounds shady. And
not slim. It just sounds shady.
Right. It's just like okay, sure. And it's like, it's one of those where I don't think there's anything against the rules, but I would ask your opponent before doing it, and don't be surprised if they're like, no, I'll just roll those. I would say if they're bad if they're bad on the target lock, then on the next roll, take them out, cycle them then. If you feel that bad about those dice. If you want to give them a timeout, let them finish the whole attack.
No, you can put them aside. I sometimes do that. It's okay as long as they're legal dice. As long as they're FFG approved dice. I know it can come out kind of so, but sometimes, like you said, dice need a timeout. They're not behaving like they should. You got to say, hey, buddy, you want to get off the bench? You got to perform better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have that problem because they all end up in the same darn bag anyway. But like, if you're not doing a baggy thing, you can just like separate it and be like, good dice, bad dice, naughty dice, naughty dice. Santa Claus is not going to give you any gifts, so put them to the side. All
right. But again, if you want to do that against me, go for it. I don't care. Personally, for me, doesn't matter to me. Yeah. So now for our last little segment here, Will, there's quite a few people asking about how your no smoking thing is going. Let's take a second to talk about that. How's it going, man?
Well, I will be honest. I did have a small relapse driving out to Chicago before a celebration. It was early in the morning, and I didn't think that. I was pretty upset. I'm A, not a morning person, and B, love smoking cigarettes when I drive alone, like especially alone. But somebody else, I could talk to them or whatever. Right. But just like sitting there, that's like, so 2 huge triggers for me. And I broke down and was able, and got a pack for celebration. But since then, I have been able to not buy any cigarettes. So we're making the small steps that we need to progress. So I think it's going well.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I've been thinking about this, about Will and he's like, all right, this is a positive life improvement he's trying to make. And I want to join him. I'm not a smoker, but I want to join him in.
Yeah, that's kind of cheating, Dylan. You can't just be like, I'm quitting smoking.
I'm quitting smoking. Done. Easy, baby. Now,
are you gonna stop peyote?
Now, I will, and this is just, again, this is the real episode. Maybe that's what I should call this one. We're getting real. Episode 105. Like I struggle with my weight quite a bit, and I will say that over the last like 4 months, I had made a lot of good strides up until about November. I had gotten down to probably the lightest I had been in years, and just went just really bad, and pretty much gained all my weight back, and stopped exercising, all these things. And there's a lot of, I can make all the excuses.
Reasons and excuses.
I can make all the excuses. But I'm going to join Will in a challenge to improve my life by publicly saying, like, I need y'all, yes, X-Wing community, I'm talking to you, to help me stay accountable in eating well when I'm at events. Okay? So Denver people, okay? I'm going to be with you guys this weekend. I will not feel bad if when we're probably sitting around eating dinner, say, Dion, order a salad, You told us to say it, okay? I won't be offended. I promise. I might look a little sad, but I won't be offended, okay?
I know driving's a big. Well, you're not probably driving out to Denver, but I know driving's a big trigger for you too.
Right?
Need
Yeah.
those snacks. Need the little uppers to keep you going. Little cookies and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like when I'm driving, like I'm gonna blame my mother. Okay, it's my mother's fault. Okay. As a child, she said the only way to get me to sleep was to drive me around in the car seat. Okay. And now, when I drive, the first thing that happens is I get sleepy, okay, as an adult. So I drive around. I'm the crazy person you see driving around like smacking themselves while they're driving, okay? But if I'm eating, I am ISO fan, thank you for the dono. He said for $50 for positive life decisions. Thank you so much. That when I'm driving, like eating keeps me awake. Like if you're eating, you can't fall asleep, right? So I'll stay awake there. And I've tried like drinking water. Gum usually helps. Like gum and water can kind of get me through. I have about an hour drive from work and District Founder says now I gotta eat healthy. His wife heard me say it. Listen, I'm not putting this out on anybody else. This is a Dion Morales challenge, okay? Not necessarily a challenge because challenges end. This is trying to be healthier overall. But yeah, it's a struggle when I drive, and especially like on my route home, I pass every delicious thing that you can get fast you can think of. Like there's every gas station turn in on the way where you're like, oh, let me just stop and get a bag of chips. Let me stop and get a pack of cookies. Oh, there's a Culver's there. Oh, there's another Culver's. Oh, there's a Wendy's. And it's like on both sides, both coming and going. Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of left out in the life choices here. I don't know. Like, wait, like
no chat. No,
well,
you don't make it spur of the moment. Like
no, because I'm saying like, okay, so it's probably not a good life choice to be dressed in Chewbacca outfits. You know, that's probably not that's not a good life choice. Like the big businessman. Actually, I actually worked in this outfit. That was interesting. That got passed around. Nice. Anyway. So I will give up something. Is this like Lent or something? It feels like Lent. Like I give up snacks. I give up cigarettes. Okay, so
what? You don't have a bad habit, Marcel?
Oh heck yeah! So internet world, I am giving up in the sake of flying jump masters. I will not fly a jump master. Maybe. I am giving that up. I will not be flying a jump master. Look at that beautiful thing. I am not going to touch it. Yes, I will not touch jump master for the next. Like, when's the next wave coming out? Hyperspace? When is it hyperspace legal? I will not touch it until it's hyperspace legal.
Wave 5.
And then you all are in trouble.
Anyway,
I just had to join the party.
So yeah, like I wanted to bring it up because Will, like I wanted for you to like how can I support Will, and like it's something I've been thinking about and I've been talking about it with my wife, and it's a real thing, and especially with all the travel and airports and all this stuff, there's lots of delicious things everywhere, and eating feels good.
I don't know what I've come to find out is that it's not a decision to stop your bad habits. You have to continually make that decision every day, like 10 times a day. Continue to have to make that decision. Be like, not give up. You gotta be like, nope, no cookies yet. Nope, can't stop for cigarettes. Nope.
Yep. So now that I'm out of April, where I have a wife birthday and a daughter birthday, and birthday parties, all this stuff, it's gonna be a little easier. But yeah, so we'll talk about it, every couple weeks. If you guys want to know, we'll bring it up. And if you don't care, then you probably turned it off already. So anyway, so remember, you can watch all of our live X-Wing content on Twitch. And talking about Twitch, this weekend, Denver System Open. Make sure you're watching live. Shout out to our sponsors for the event, District Foundry and Curled Paw Creatives. Also, I want to take
the coupon code.
What?
I see District Foundry on the chat.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Yeah, I see him in the chat. Give me a coupon code. I need to buy some templates and some template holders for Kayla. So, coupon me.
There may or may not be coupons. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Actually,
Yeah, coupon me.
I totally know what's gonna happen. But yeah, watch live and you'll
Coupon
find out.
me.
And I want to talk about the giveaways that we're doing. We're doing something a little bit different and new. I guess not different and new. I'm officially making it a thing. So we have our normal set of prizes that we always give. We have the cards. A lot of them are cards. But then we have like the extra prizes. And day one of the Denver System Open, I'm going to be publishing basically I lost the word. Stretch goals, saying if we hit X goal, then this prize will be unlocked. And there's some pretty sweet things. They're actually sitting right there on my other desk. That's sitting right. You guys can't see it, but there's some really cool stuff there, including I think probably when it comes to like X-wing memorabilia, something that people are gonna want. Okay, people are gonna want. And how do you win these items? You literally just gotta watch the stream. You just gotta watch the stream. Just be there, be a part of it. And yeah, I mean that top tier prize. It's gonna be a stretch goal. I mean, I gotta make it hard. That one's gotta be a stretch. We got some other small ones that we'll maybe hit
1,000.
Hey, listen. I haven't announced anything. I'll publish and stuff. I'm still planning. See, here's the thing. I got to hedge a little bit against ISOFan. I love my ISOFan. You see, I got my ISOFan fan official fan card there. I got to hedge a little bit against ISOFan. He already said, like, "Hey, Dion, what are your sub goals this weekend?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I got a plan. I got a plan for some of those, but yeah, super excited, guys.
I might be busy this weekend, so I might not be watching. I like watching the stream, but I might be busy because I got my son this weekend. Mm-hmm. So District Foundry, PM me your coupon code. I'm looking at you, buddy.
Listen, but if you ask for the coupon code on Tuesday, you're not getting it.
I don't know when I'm asking. Just PM me. You know who I am. You know how to find me. I'm the big Chewbacca wearing person. You can find me.
So yeah, make sure you tune in on Twitch, follow, subscribe on YouTube. We also stream to YouTube. But I'll be honest, all the giveaways are done through Twitch, so you really want to watch on Twitch. But subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hit the 7,000 mark recently. Super pumped about that. So let's try. We're on the road to 8,000. Road to 8,000. You can watch all of our X-Wing replays of our other system opens, our league play. We also got awesome series going on. We have the X-Wing quick tips. We have This Week in X-Wing. And we have some more things coming as well. You can always join our Discord community if you haven't done that. The link is in the description below. And if you're watching live, click type ! Discord in the chat. If you don't know what Discord is, it's basically like a big chat room. And ours is X-Wing based. We got some different rooms. We got the Paintcast stuff in there. And if you haven't watched the Paintcast, what are you doing? Luke is doing some really cool stuff. We actually just published his Plo Koon repaint scheme on YouTube, which was super awesome.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah, he's doing great work. And lastly, but most importantly, if you enjoy all the content we bring you and you want to get awesome swag, including the upcoming Ahsoka, Trade Federation drone, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Anakin Skywalker alt art cards, you can go to patreon.com/Gold Squadron and join our team there. Thank you, everybody who has supported. For William and Marcel, my name is Dio Morales. We'll see you this weekend. Gold Squadron out.
I'm Matthew Wood. I play the voice of General Grievous in Star Wars, and you're listening to the Gold Squadron podcast. Gold Squadron out.